Hello YouTubers. Today I have a special new knife day. I received a custom Boudicca from Anton Knives. Anton Vander Westhuizen. And he is a South African knife maker, and he makes fantastic knives. This is the Boudicca. It is a side flipper, and it has Damascus pockets on the scale. The scales are titanium with a Cerakote. The backspacer is Damascus. The collar is Damascus, and the pocket clip is Damascus. It has ceramic IKBS bearings, and it has one of the sweetest looking blades that I have ever seen. He uses a blade steel called Nebula, and it's another South African maker. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and it's going to kill me. I'm going to put it in the link below. And he makes the dragon skin blade steel. I'm not sure if you guys seen. I know the Microtech and Marathon Customs, they utilize that dragon skin steel for some of their projects, and my friend Kyle had introduced me to Anton and that cracked ice Nebula blade style finish, and I couldn't wait to try it myself. So thank you, Kyle, for allowing me to spend the kind of money I had to spend to get a knife that looks like this. I mean, absolutely out of control. This is a full size, so I believe it's 8.25 or 8.5 inches. Everything here is hand done by Anton. All of that fire you see there, the Cerakoting, the collars. I'm very excited to flip this thing open. I do want to get a ruler. I got one here just to see how big the scale length is prior to firing this open and getting an overall length. The scales themselves are about 4 3/4, which I feel are a very good size. If you add that backspacer, you're almost at the 5-inch mark. So I have no doubt that this is going to be a full purchase in my hand. Just, because it's a Damascus kind of day, I wanted to provide my Rotten Evo by CKF with their dark Damascus, just as a comparative. The overall length on this guy is about a 4 and just under a half. Let's call it 4 3/8 maybe, and just to get a comparison of the length of the overall length between the two. So obviously the Boudicca is going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to have the flipper tab instead of the traditional thumb hole that you see there, or the reverse Spidey flick, or the thumb studs. So without further ado, let's flip this bad boy open and see what that blade looks like. Oh yeah! Oh man, I have to turn down the light so you guys can see. I mean, that is out of control. Oh man, hang on, let me turn down the light and see what we can do here. Oh yeah. Now Anton does this himself. There is nobody else out there that is doing things like this with this type of blade steel. He said he hand does this. I believe it's nickel that he drops onto the blade to give it that finish. And it is just out of control. Oh my goodness, Kyle, you were so right. Oh geez, let me see if I can get this out of the way without knocking it over. That's the first time I fired this knife. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do a better job of capturing that. Anton, he takes the knife outside, and it's just stunning with how beautiful that blade is. Let's see if I can get the bounce. It'll be a little less harsh so you guys could see all of the patterns that's in that knife blade. I'm gonna have to do a better job than that. That titanium, or the Damascus, out of control, just out of control. There you go. Look at that blade. Unreal. Unreal. So like I said, they do make, Anton does make front flippers if you are so inclined to front flipper styles. He also makes Cerakote blades. So if the cracked ice Nebula is not your thing, holy shit. That's got a nice strong detent, and it's got plenty of thwack. And as you can see, those ceramic bearings are doing all the work, dropping that blade. And you know, drop shut means a lot, and you can get a heavy blade and it will drop. But when you have a slow, controlled, fluid motion on a heavy blade, and it's not just get your hand. Oh man, this is stupid. And Anton makes a couple different blade shapes, so if you want to flick, he's got a sheep's foot style blade that'll allow him to that'll allow you to reverse Spidey flick this thing if you want it. But that flipper is out of control. I put that up as more thwack than my Shiro. And what's great about this versus that Shiro, I mean, the F3R, I'll tell you, look at the jimping. The jimping on the flipper matches the style of the cracked ice Nebula steel. I mean, look at that. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can't believe the attention to detail. You know, and so many people tell you that the South African knife makers are doing fantastic things. This is my first. You know, I guess if you count the Shamwiri that I had, but no, this is absolutely out of control. I mean, I gotta get the ruler out and see. Yeah, look at it. It is a full size bad boy. At the end of that backspacer, it's about 8.5. But there is no doubt I can get a full 4-finger grip on this. Really choke up if I ever wanted to use this thing. I don't know if I would, but holy cow. This is awesome. If anybody is asking for more information on these, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'd love to give you an opportunity to purchase one of these guys. And wow. I mean, just wow. Anton said the Nebula steel has a hardness of 63, 64. So, you know, I have to imagine it's going to perform. He has some others. The Cerakote one that I was telling you about, that's in the CTSXP type steel. I can't remember the hell the name of that steel. It's not CPM, but Spyderco makes displayed steels in that. I know Curtis is using that steel as well. My F3 was CTSXP. But with this, I have to imagine if I have to keep it oiled, that there is some carbon in the blade. And I'd have to look up the Nebula steel. Because the Nebula steel is proprietary, it's not like it's a Bowler and he's offloading that to a whole bunch of people. This is a small African blade steel maker that is making this blade and this steel that Anton's able to work with to provide that cracked ice Nebula look. I still don't believe how freaking sweet that blade is. Oh man, it is sharp. Holy shit. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I don't know how you tend to spend time looking at one thing or missing another. You know, you don't spend enough time on the pocket clip. You don't spend enough time on the collar. You don't spend enough time on the pivot inlay that you see there. You don't spend enough time on the Damascus pocket. And you don't spend enough time on the backspace. That orange, I love that orange. It just glows. It really does. And it's so funny because, when I first started this is probably one of the nicer Damascus clips that I've seen on a Rotten. And when you compare it to what Anton's done, it's like a night and day difference. And I guess, you can see the differences between a custom knife and a production knife. But, it just tends to speak to what the African knife makers are doing and what Anton van der Westhuizen is doing. I hope I can spell that right, Westhuizen. But, so find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, and I'd love to tell you more about these. Hopefully I can learn more about these because I didn't know what to expect. But, Anton was breaking my chops when I purchased this from him. And he said this would not be my last. And I'm going to tell you, it most certainly will not be my last because this is sweet. Oh, man. Here it is next to the Cortex. I mean, the Cortex isn't a large knife. It isn't a small knife. But it is a fantastic knife that I am thoroughly in love with. And I would put this right up there with that caliber knife. It is fantastic. It is a great action. It's got the zircon there. I'm pulling out my Shiro just so that we can see the difference between the thwack. Oh, man. Very nice. Very, very nice. Look at the size comparison between the two. If you like the way the F3NS is, the full-size Boudicca is going to be a great alternative to you. The Boudicca is a little thinner, I want to say, a little slimmer, which is great because it does fill that hand very nicely. Oh, I cannot believe how drop shut that is. Wow. I mean, detent is a little weak on the Shiro in comparison, but that's probably because I'm riding the lock bar when I fire this thing. But, man, I like it. I like it a lot, and that might be in the keeper drawer. So, again, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to look at this beautiful Anton van der Westhuizen out of South Africa and his custom Boudicca full size with the Nebula cracked ice blade steel. And man, let me know if you are interested. I would have no problem talking to you more about this knife. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Take care.